the e-learning is
all the online stuff.
Online, okay, so it's the IT side.
Yeah.
Okay, online education. How'd you find that? Good fun?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Done a lot with Julie over the years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been a victim stroke model several
Sounds
times.
good.
Just a few times.
Good. Right, so tonic on the hair. So we went through earlier about consultation, okay? What's the most important thing about when we do a consultation? What do we need to get out of the person?
Information.
Information. That's the main cause of a consultation. Not to have a chat about the weather. We can have a chat about odds and sods, how bad his employers are, how bad his fellow peers are. I've got to find that all out. But it's more important we find out the information we need so I can do a good job, okay? So, Frank, when you regularly have your hair cut, every couple of weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, when do you tend to do it?
It's probably, it could be between 6 weeks and about 8 months, depending on.
So would you rather it cut more regular?
Yes, yeah.
What would your ideal time for you, every month or every 6 weeks?
I should really, I'm trying to get it every 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks, okay. So how do you get a customer to put it in every 6 weeks if they can't book in a barber shop? Say they don't have the booking facility, how would you do that? What would you use? You actually got in your pocket all the time, everybody seems to be on it. Put a reminder on your phone, I do it all the time. I say, listen, you've got an iPhone, you've got a smartphone, I've seen you on it, you're always on it, everybody's always on it, it's a nightmare. Okay, my grudge better. But use it positively, so look, I never remember. So put it on your phone, stick a reminder in. I put a reminder in 2 weeks before I was coming here, the time I was coming, the time I'm finishing. Put a reminder my train turns up. I use it all the time to remind me, I've got a head full of stuff. Most guys have a head full of things. You know, when people like a booking, what do you have to send them? A reminder by email, because they're not because they're stupid, they forget, because they're busy. Everybody's busy. So if you stick a reminder, how quick does 6 weeks come around?
Soon.
Like that, as quick as that, 6 weeks go. You'll be looking around, in June you'll be doing your exams, you'll go, that went quick. It's going to go mad, isn't it? So the idea of using the tools that they've got to help build your chair is quite a clever idea. This young lady coming in. Are you coming in? Sorry, sweet. Sorry. She's standing outside, I thought she was waiting to come in, bless her. Oh, that's okay, I thought she was waiting to come, she can come in, I thought she was standing outside doing her own class. So with Frank's hair, what do we notice about Frank's hair? What would you see? Some ideas. Someone come up and show me. Who's going to volunteer? Come up for me. Come up with me. Come up here. Come and give me an idea of what Frank's hair's like. Pick some bits out you would actually think are important to the haircut. I'm putting tonic through it, so it's going to put it in an A keratin state, okay, a natural state. What do you notice about Frank's hair? What would you be wary of?
It's quite fine.
Fine, okay. It's fine. And it's long, okay? Yeah. It's got a slight wave to it. Anything else? Yeah. Okay, it's widow peaks to the front, that's fine. Yeah, it's got receding lines. What else would you notice about it?
Quite curly.
Okay. Make wells in it, yeah, okay. You know, is it close to the ear? Is it clear in the ear? It's quite close to the ear, so that's quite good, that's fine. He's also got a beard, so what do we do with that? Do we want to trim the beard? We've got to find out these sort of things. If you're going to trim the beard, you blend into the beard. Do you disconnect the beard? Do you have the beard stand alone? Do you want it so it blends in evenly, both sides? You know? So these things I'm going to be asking, okay? So now you've seen the hair, and you see where the follicles lie, and you can see, obviously that's determined. If he wants a full haircut, and it's going to be difficult to do, because obviously with the material you're working with, you've got to do the best you can for the client, haven't you? So again, being honest and being kind to someone, actually giving them a haircut that suits them, rather than their haircut someone they always want, and they get disappointed because they can't achieve it, you know. So you also got to be realistic with clients, and then that's your communication skills. It's not about that sometimes, it's actually about that, and that gives you the answers you need there. Okay? So thank you very much. Thank you, my sweet. Well done. Right, so Frank, cut-wise, what have you had done before? What would you like to achieve?
The last couple of cuts I've had I've kept the flick because I'm going a bit thin on top here, as you can see, and it's been kind of shaved in at the sides, which I quite liked, which was quite new to me over the last couple of years. So looked quite good. Did it, Julie? It's all right. But the last time he'd done it, same barbers, different barber, he'd done it. But he left a bit of a ledge in, which I didn't like. It was a bit peaky blinders. Yeah, it was a bit. You know, so I kind of preferred it was shaved in. No.
Do you have a parting in the hair? Do you wear a parting in it?
I generally just flick it over like so. Occasionally I have had the parting in the past, but I think it's getting a bit thin on the top.
So you can have two partings as well. You can have a soft parting, where you actually just physically put it, or you can have a hard parting. What's a hard parting entail?
We put like a little line on.
Put the line in. Okay. Now sometimes you put hard parting in for someone who wants to find their parting all the time, but really struggles finding their parting. You've got to be a bit careful with hard partings because once it's in, it's in. You can't say, I don't like that now, then you've got to grow it out because it ain't going to stay in, is it? So you've got to look at the maintenance point of view. I really want a hard parting in. They don't want a hard parting, they just want it parted. They've heard it called a hard parting. So you say, well, are you going to wear it apart all the time? Oh no, not all the time, so then don't put it in. You've got to ask them these questions because a lot of people ask for, I want a skin fade. You go, okay, yeah, well, number 3 at the sides, down to the bottom. That's not a skin fade. Skin fade is when you've got nothing. Oh yeah, I just thought it was called a skin fade. No, that's called a number 3 back and sides. So you've got to be very careful because they hear these slogans and sayings and they just, I want him. Yeah, great. You're not asking for the right thing. So it's understanding you're both on the same song sheet. That makes sense? Both singing the same song. It's important, isn't it? So you will never know that unless you communicate. Totally know it. That's the most important thing. In your job in IT, to solve a problem in IT, you've got to know the ins and outs. You've got to ask lots and lots of questions to, is you going to be blowing in the wind?
Absolutely.
Because there's a million and one things that could be the problem. Until you bring it down, by spending 10 minutes in conversation or communicating, it saves you hours of work. So it's no different in any trade. Any professional person would want to know the ins and outs because then they can guide that person and actually get to the right solution. Because at the end of the day, if it's the right solution, Frank's happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. Yeah? Does that make sense? So asking the right questions all the time, especially as an apprentice or as a manager or any position where you're given the responsibility of doing that job. So in your case as apprentice or learners, getting to the synoptic test finish, actually understanding things like hard parting. You might be asked, so when would you part hard parting and what's doing a hard parting and a soft parting? It's your knowledge, yeah? Hard parting is permanent until it grows out. It goes right down to the bare knuckle, doesn't it? So when would you use it? When wouldn't you use it, you know? So you've got to understand when people say things, what it's going to look like on them and explain that if you do this, you won't be able to take it out. If you go down to a skin fade and null, the sides have got to go shorter to support it, and then the tops sometimes got to go shorter. It looks a bit disconnected. Oh, I don't want to cut the top. Oh, okay, then we don't want to, you've got to understand what you're asking for. Okay, does that make sense to you? Yeah. So cut wise, we're going to push it over, soften it forward, a soft parting over, not hard parting, leave the length on top. And it's coming forward, or is it all coming back? Are you wearing it forward and back, or are you wearing it back?
Whatever that would be.
Push over.
Okay,
That's fine.
Because I've got this cow's lick here.
Yeah, so we accommodate the cows that goes with it. Okay, it's fine. It works from left to right, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, on the sides, obviously your neckline looks tapered naturally. When you said you had it cut before, it's very, very tight. How low do you want to take the bottom of the haircut? Down to a 1, or do you want to go a little bit longer, or do you want to take it down so it fades out of the base?
Fades out, I think. At the base.
Fades out, okay, so we can use the foiler in the neckline. So we're going to show you how to use the foiler machine at the back, okay? So what we're going to do with Frank's hair, because it's quite fine, we're not going to strip it, because if you strip it, you take all the length from the body and the shape out of it. So we're going to be fine layering through it, and as we get to the base, the medium transition down, we're going to start to drop fade it, okay, and bring it down to the base, okay? And what that does, it makes the rest of the haircut look stronger. That makes sense, okay? Beard wise, when we do that, obviously Frank's got a beard. So when you do your beard, do you want it lined out? Do you want a sharp disconnection so there's beard and then there's no hair under it, or do you want it so it blends in?
I think I want it sort of blends in.
Blends, okay. So people can have a beard that's shaped to the corner. You can have a beard that's piped in to the middle. You can have a beard that's blended in and blends out. So it's full of hair, but it blends in the middle. Okay, and we call that a reverse blend, and I'll show you how to do that, turning the clippers back to front. We're going to show you how to use the clippers backwards, okay? So it's back blending, which is quite a nice little touch where you turn the blade upside down. So it's quite simple and it helps you blend in and out. Imagine it's a mirror image. So you're coming away to blend that way, and then you're coming away to blend that way.
Isn't that what you do on, like, type 4 hair?
On?
Type, like, afro hair?
Afro hair, yeah, you can do that because obviously your mirror, it's called a mirror effect, where you blend outwards on one and you blend outwards on the other. You turn it backwards, whatever you do, it's like a mirror image. So it's fade in the middle and it builds up either side, okay? Does that make sense? So we can do that with Frank's hair on the beard as well. So we pick up the strong areas of the beard, we work with the strong areas and blend into a soft area, okay? Okay, tonic wise we just put in, what's the purpose of a tonic? Anybody just recap what a tonic does? For the hair, I put tonic in Frank's hair. Why have I put tonic in his hair? What does that help me do and what does it achieve?
Puts all like the oils and nutrients back in it.
Okay, and how does that help me when I'm blow drying it through at the end? It puts in its keratin state, and then we can put it in a B-keratin state. Actually, we can blow dry it in and bend the bonds in the hair temporarily, but it also as a coating lotion. It coats the hair and it's a blow dry lotion. So it actually helps support the hair. So when you're doing your blow drying unit, part of it is using blow drying lotions, which will be a tonic. You could use that because it's a product that coats the hair and it helps protect the hair when you're blow drying it. It swells the cuticle and the goodness goes in, so it does protect it. Okay, is that okay? Would you say that? Okay, so we know Frank's hair goes from left to right. Let's look at the shape of the hair, look at the length of it, okay? So we're looking at crowns, and we're looking at necklines, and we're looking at sideburns, and we're looking at the beard, we're keeping the beard. When we do the beard on Frank's hair, what do you notice about the beard shape here, to the sides and the base? What do we notice about it? What do we notice about the beard, the back half?
Curves into his neck like that.
Yeah, it grows out. So we're going to use that neckline. So when I do a beard, I like to put a strong back line in. The reason I put a back line in, it gives me the guide for the baseline, both sides. So you put guides in haircuts, we're guiding beard shape as well. So we're going to do the beard trim as well with Frank, if that's all right with him. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. So when we do the beard line, when we do the sideburn here, we're going to work behind that and put the jawline in. Now, we can do two things on Frank's beard. We can come up so it sits on the jawline, so it gives him a more dominant jawline. We can do it natural at the base, where you leave it loose, and you maybe chamfer it out slightly, tape it like a neckline, but leave it so it doesn't actually finish, it just sits soft. We can give it a nice strong low line, which looks like Frank does anyway. He keeps it on his Adam's apple line, and we can come across, or we can come up higher, okay? That's normally the case if the beard's bigger here, underneath, okay? So the beard's more fuller, we tend to chamfer the sides and then go into this sort of like almost like a horseshoe shape, comes into the face that way. Okay, so it's more dominant to the front. But as it's heavier here, we tend to angle this down to meet it. So we take out the baseline. So we give it a jawline, straight down to the fullness of the beard. So it gives it a real shape and a fullness. Okay, it makes the front look more dominant. You're taking the eye line and you're making it look more dominant. Okay, otherwise it all grows under here and it takes it away. It just grows like that, like a fog's neck, like that, all this hair underneath that, and then you've got this beard at the front. And it never looks smart because all this is underneath and you can't see the shape. So you would chamfer tape it out, you'll turn the blade inwards and use the bevel blade to take the shape in. So we're going to use just trimmers and we're going to use a back blending just to take the weight of the beard down and blend it, okay? So we're going to do that lightly in a second, okay, on the beard. Moustache wise, everybody has trouble blending this bit on moustaches and down here. You would use the back end of the blade and reverse blend out, and I'll show you to do that. And you think you're going to take loads off, but you don't, you have an open clipper and it chamfers out. Again, the cutting blade's on the inside, not the outside. Okay? Do you think about it, when you're cutting hair, so we'll go through this now. If you've got a cutting blade like that, if the clipper's open and you're chamfering or you're sort of tapering that way, where does the hair sit? How does the hair sit when you pick it up? When you're picking the hair up with the clipper going that way, where's the hair sitting? It sits on the inside cutting blade. Yeah? Hair's picked up and it sits on the inside cutting blade, it's the moving blade. Yeah, the inside cutting blade there is the moving blade. That bit there moves. This bit doesn't move. That's the gold. Okay? It's the inside cutting level that moves. That's what you oil. For 3 points and 2 edges, that's what you oil, that bit. That's the moving friction. Okay? Okay, it's a friction plate, so it rubs. And that's your spins. A rotary spins 6,000 times per minute. So that's spinning round a little motor that spins and spins and spins, and it moves that blade. Okay? So when the hair sits in that, it's picked up in the cutting blade and it's cut off at an angle, it's beveled off, it cuts off that way. Yeah? Sits in and cuts, that comes down, it cuts. What happens if you turn it that way? What does it do? Is it cutting as much off? No, nowhere near as much off, you're reversing it. So if you're coming this way, it sits on the cutting blade second. Yeah, you've got the guiding blade first and it sits on the cutting blade second. So you're shaving the outside, you're reverse chamfering, you're taking the outside level off. This side you take the inside out, that side you take the outside first. Okay? Because if the hair's that way, it's kind of shaving it. Like you shave a piece of Parmesan cheese. you're taking the outside layer, you know when you shave a bit of cheese on
Like thinning
a
it.
grater. You're just taking the edge, just shaping it. So when you're doing beards, we would shape it that way without taking length off. If I did it this way, it would take it all off. It would sit in and just take it away at the root. But it picks it up and then takes it back to skin level, doesn't it, or the guard level. If I do it this way, I'm guiding it reverse, because the hair grows that way, doesn't it? So we're going with the shape like we did with the shape of the haircut that way. So you're shaping, yeah? So it's your chamfering. So we would chamfer that, and then we'll then taper there. So a chamfer meets the taper, gives you the blend. Okay, so we'll blend it in and blend it out. And it will be almost like a skin fade blend around the edge, and it will be in comparison to the back edge. Okay, so when we do this, we're going to fade this area here, we're going to drop it down to the masculoid bone, fade this area here, keep it heavy or square on the occipital line, and then use that guide round there and then come over. Okay, so the haircut we're going to do, Frank, is quite square because we want to retain some of the length, but we want the sides shorter to support a tight graduation low. Because if we come up too high, you'll have this big wedgy graduation. And then we said before, last time we had it done, someone left the weight line, they didn't like it because it was too heavy above here. So they left this heavy and then went really short hair and it left the weight. And it didn't feel comfortable.
No, it wasn't as good as the first time.
No. So then we've got to be sensible. We've got to then work the tools differently to create a different look. That makes sense? Okay, so I'm going to start your hair. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go for the top. What's the centre line called? When you're doing haircuts, what's the centre called? Try not to look too much at your book so you can remember what you do. What's the centre line called? Right down the middle, what's your guide? Centre guide on a haircut. Just said one of them, so what one is it? Your centre line. Anybody? Centre profile for the middle. Right, that's your centre guide, yeah? So we're going to go through. Does Frank want to keep some of the length at the front, or does he want to go really short at the front?
I think a bit shorter. If it gets really short, it then sticks up, you know, because that cow's looking at it more and more.
So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put my guide in this way. So I know the length I'm working at now. Okay? So I've dropped the front slightly. Okay? It's a slight graduation. Put my fingers where, that's what the angle I'm cutting at. So I'm not doing that one, I'm doing it that way. Okay? We then section out. And then from that point on, we come square. Back to the centre profile. Okay? Again, 6 weeks off. I'm not going to go mad. I want him back every 6 weeks. I don't want to scalp him. That makes sense? Okay? So now we're going to go through and cross-check, okay? We're going to come across that centre profile, right down to the parietal bone, and we're going to follow the cut through. So I want to whip through this pretty quickly because we put some detail on it last time. Why don't we stop at the crown? Why don't we carry that graduation right back to the crown and into the crown? What will that do?
And then the crown stick up.
Crown will stick up, we go too short. So we can always go back into the crown. So we're going parietal ridge, parietal bone turning into the parietal ridge, okay? So again, I'm using my angles, I'm using my guides, and the same this side we're going to come across. And I'm going to come right across the edges here, and I'm going to get that centre guide into my parietal ridge on the corners. Where is the parietal ridge? Why is that so important? What's the separation of the parietal ridge? Where does it start? What's the purpose of calling it a parietal ridge? Imagine a ridge of a cliff. What happens on one side of the cliff? Drops. So what does this do when it gets to there? Drops into the side. Okay? So one side is part of the top, the other side is the separation to the side. And what do we sometimes call that when they separate? Parting. That's where we identify where the parting is, on the parietal ridge. If the parting's down there, how does that look? If it's right low down there. It looks bloody awful. Yeah? It's the wrong place. But you see how many people put the parting in the wrong place. It's unbelievable, isn't it? So many people put it, well, I like my part in there, and they come like that. Because I'm going a bit thin there, so if we can keep all of that, and we can, hey, go right down to there. It's really stupid. It's great, isn't it? But people do it because the barber says, oh, well, that's what you want. But it's not the right thing. Remember, it's your name on that haircut. It's your reputation at stake.
Yeah, my dad had a comb over and I cut it off.
I mean, it's a 70s thing, which is great, because you know why it did it? Because years ago, it wasn't acceptable to shave your hair off. It was thought thuggish, it was a skinhead era in the 70s, and if you had a skinhead in the 70s, you were hoodlum, yeah? And people in offices in London or in good positions in the city couldn't have skinheads, so they had to keep their hair. and it looks awful, this long hair, so they try to put it across. So you can understand the purpose of a comb over. It was a kind of socially acceptable haircut. Looking back now, it looks hideous.
Yeah, because he was going bald, so every time it was windy, it was like that.
Well, look at Prince William now, our future king. He's had a protocol, he's allowed to shave his hair. For years, he wasn't allowed to shave his hair short because he was a royalist. It's mad, isn't it? Now he's took it down to a 4. It looks brilliant, doesn't it? But he looked so old, didn't he? He just made it look really, it made it look worse. It made it look really bald, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't protocol that a member of the royal family, future king, could have a skinhead. It's mad, isn't it? So, you know, it's all changed. He's allowed to do it now. I suppose he's quite a modern monarch, and they've tried to, and it's now the people going, it looks much better, doesn't it? It don't look no more near as noticeable. So sometimes, again, it's advising your client base properly, you know. So what I'm going to do is very similar to what I've done the first cut, just taking the shape down, take it from the parietal bone, which I've already done, take it into the region. I'm keeping it wide this time. The reason being is I want to part it over, okay? So the parietal ridge is quite wide. So now we've got the shape forming on the corner. See the squareness coming through the side here? Okay, see the shape? Okay? And we're retaining length because the cows look at the front, we've said that. Again, I'm going to do some razor cutting as well and show you how we settle that down. So okay, coming from the parietal ridge, there's your parietal bone. In the corner, there's your guide. I can turn it round, you can see. So I'm coming down the side and we're connecting into the parietal ridge area, okay? And we're coming down the side and then I'm going to cross check. And the reason I'm coming this way is this is where the weight's going to sit into this corner. And we've got to be careful because I don't want this sticking up by the crown. The crown is coming round, and because the crown's light, I don't want it suddenly kicking up. So I'm working my way this way round, where this side I pulled it out, didn't I? Because I want to keep the shape here. Once that guide's in there, our guide is in the top right hand corner. You can see it here. So there's my guide. See the guide there? There's my guide. And the guide has come from me pulling the ridge out. Okay? Understand that? So now I've got the same square layer sitting both sides. Now I'm going to put this square layer in. And the reason I'm doing the square layer in now at this point, I want to get it down to the medium transition, and then I'm going to use my clippers, because remember we said earlier, it was left too heavy here last time. And it looked like a wedge, and it was disconnected, and he didn't want that. Now remember, we're going to connect into the beard, and we're going to connect and drop the back. So we need that a little bit shorter, okay? We need the length to sit in this a little bit shorter, because we're going to come up a little bit higher, and then we're going to blend it into the beard. That makes sense? Okay? Okay. So now we're going to do some clipper work in a minute. We're going to go over to clippers. So the top's cut with scissors, just to get some shape through. Okay? And then we're going to do some clipper cutting. So around the crown, let's look around the crown area. So here's the crown. See the weight of the crown sitting here. Very weighty. There's my guide sitting on the parietal, on the side of the radial section sitting right there. It's across, it's sitting right on that radial section. You know it's a radial section, so it's where the hair starts to drop, it's across. Okay? So now we're going to follow this guide round. Now we can do this with clippers, we can do it with scissors. Let's do it with clippers. Let's go through and show you the radial section of clippers. So, we're going to use bevel blade, normal blade. We're going to open the blade up, 0.5, okay? And we're going to club cut with it. Remember how we club cut last time, yeah? So, we need to come this way, so we need to comb this way. So it's a case of this, come through, there's my guide, we club cut, we come through. There's my guide, we club cut, actually I'm going to shut the clipper down for that. Club cut and down. Work the crown. There's my guide, club cut. That makes sense, yeah? I'm going to keep this system rolling this way, okay?
Look at the hairdressers now.
Okay? And we're going to club cut. What's the angle? I'm going to change the angle now. I'm going to move the angle around, okay? So one-handed. I'm going to put it down. There's my guide at the top. Club cut down. Okay? So it's palm to palm working. So I can see the blade all the time, yeah? Palm to palm. Palm to palm, yeah? I'm not coming off that length anymore, so I know it's not sticking up. I'm coming away from the crown. I'm not working.
Half or is it
I'm using a closed clipper now because I'm over the comb. I'm not doing it to the skin, I'm using it as a scissor. So it's a closed clipper. And I'm blending this at 0.5. Okay? So I'm using the Pro Lice, which are rotary clipper straight down. Okay? There's my guide straight down, no different to scissors. It's a different technique and I'm doing it clip over comb. And in fact with these, you can't cut yourself. So a lot of students go, oh, I'll cut myself with scissors. And club cut with clippers, you can't cut yourself with clippers. Because the outside is longer than the inside. So it's really good when you're point cutting into the corner because you actually can't cut yourself. So it's quite a nice way of getting clipper confidence, yeah, club cutting with clippers. And again, when I went to America and New York, we had to do everything with clippers. We wasn't allowed to take scissors. It was a clipper show. So we were doing longer hair on guys with clippers. They'd never seen it. It was all ball cuts, it was all boss cuts, it was all short, it was buzz cutting. We was doing longer hair.
So you do that? What do you do now?
I could do it with clippers. Yeah, you can do it with clippers. You can shape it down. You can chamfer it. You can. But I do one length for my daughter. My daughter's got very long hair, my youngest one. And we box cut. It's brilliant with clippers. Much more neater than scissors. Because the scissors you kind of bend. Clippers go bang straight in.
So we just learned how to use the razor doing this.
New ways of cutting. You can do loads of different ways of doing it.
How do fringes? It's like when guys that look like, I don't know, crops at the minute.
Box cuts are brilliant.
Box cuts, crops, yeah. And I do the fringe with my details on my clipper and it's straight and it's sharp and it's heavy.
Anywhere you want to put a straight line in barbering or hairdressing, you can do with clippers. You can do anything with scissors, you can do clippers, you can do anything with clippers with scissors. It's just a different tool. So the idea of learning and mixing your skill sets up and opposite both is quite nice. If Frank said, I don't want any clippers, I want it all scissor cut, I can scissor cut his entire haircut. If he says, I don't mind clippers, but I don't want it too short, I can use this technique. Because it's much quicker. You club cut with clippers, bang, 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 much quicker. Much, much quicker. If you're turning chairs around, I do it on a Saturday in a busy shop, and go, look at that, bang, 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 done. Top's done. You go, you're in. And you go, also it looks quite cool in the barber shop.
It looks very cool.
It does look cool in a barber shop because people don't see it. And again, as you said, in a barber shop, you've got an audience watching. You're the stage. They're your clients, they're your audience. So see the shape of that? I haven't gone mad. You've got the crown sitting down as you want it. It looks just as soft as the scissor work, doesn't it? I've mixed up the scissor and the clip work, you can't see the difference. It's the techniques you use, it's how you use them. Okay, that makes sense? Plus the clippers are running all the time. So if I would do it real time, which I would work, it would be like this, is how I would work. So I would use it no different to scissor work. I would section, I would cut, I would section, I would cut. No different. Okay? So we just use a clipper comb instead of a scissor comb. Okay? So, that was fun, wasn't it? You enjoyed that? Okay, let's go over to the clipper comb. With Frank's hair, it's quite fair, so what comb would I use if I'm blending?
White. White.
White comb? What, light hair?
No, I put dark.
Pink.
Pink comb? Pink comb? I'm not that happy
It's happy today.
I love that. So why don't you use a pink comb when I'm in a good mood? When I'm happy?
It's in between, isn't it?
When you want a day off, and I've got the pink comb, oh my God, they go, Kev's got a pink comb out. Kev, can I put a holiday request in? No. Ain't that happy. It's Saturday, it's the end of the week. If I've got a pink comb on a Saturday, I'm really in a good mood because I've finished. I've had a good week. If I've had a bad week, the dark comb comes out. Dark side. Okay, so now we're going to chamfer. What does chamfer involve? When I chamfer hair, what am I doing? What's the technique I'm using when I'm chamfering?
Going down.
I'm going with the grain of the hair, the way the hair moves, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, let's chamfer. So, you can chamfer with a clipper guard. So if you want to chamfer on a four, you can actually chamfer with a four with the grain. It's a good way of doing it,
Blends out quite
because you've got the difference. It brings up texture, takes out the edges. I like to use no clipper guards. I'm quite a traditional barber, everything's over comb. I quite like that, because I can really vary my work. But in level 2 you're allowed clipper guards, level 3 no clipper guards, it's all clip over comb. So if you can master clipper over comb without the guards, that's the best set. Then you can use your clipper guards if you need to. But when have you ever gone somewhere and you forgot your tools or your number 2's missing, or I can't do it, I've got the number 2, I can't do that, so you've got to learn it. You know, the minimal amount of tools you've got, the better. I mean, I carry a chest of tools in me. I've got 6 of them. 6 tool chests. Can you believe how many tools I've got? It's ridiculous, alright? I never throw my night with hold, I don't throw things away. And I strip tools and take them off and I need that. what are you, some sort of stepson, son? Keep collecting stuff. And I go, right, you never know when you need that. And when someone breaks their clippers, I've lost my screw. There you go. There's your screw. Glad I saved that now. And they take your words back and they don't. It's a nightmare. I hold. But then I think everything's got a value and I never throw stuff away. I'm a nightmare. That's what the big Kev Vorley, because it's just for us. Right, okay. So now we're going to shampoo. We're going to come reverse, okay? Now with this, we can slow it down like a pivot clipper. We can slow it down so really slow. We can push it up. We can make it faster. We can make it faster. We can make it up to 6,000. Okay, so I'm going to do it down to medium. I don't want it cutting too fast because it's fine hair. Okay, so I'll leave it in the middle and I'm just going to shampoo very, very lightly. This slows the blade down, so therefore it slows my cutting down. Okay, when the blade moves faster, you tend to work faster. In truth, you
So
tend
would
to
you choose that? Would it be the hair type and?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's really coarse hair, you need to get through it. It will slow down when it's really coarse because you have to cut through it. Okay, but what I'm doing now is reverse bending, coming down the haircut, taking the bolt the wrong way, coming downwards. And the reason I'm coming downwards on my haircut is that I'm never going to go too high and take the parietal ridge out. I don't want to go too high, I don't want to ruin the parietal ridge on Frank's hair, because it's going to be quite specific how I want to wear it, and I want to put the skin fade to the base. Okay? I've got to drop it far enough so it connects into the beard and also allows me to fade out the neckline with the bell foilers. Okay? So you can see I'm taking the bulk out the sides now, okay? So you can see I'm working from the parietal ridge down to the medium transition. Does that make sense? And the medium I'm then going to introduce clipper numbers, okay? And get it down to a 1-ish, that sort of length, because I want to take it down. But we now know the top sits at this length. So because the top sits, have we got to recut the top at any point now?
No.
No, because I'm working downwards. I'm now working on a transition, okay? Why don't I want to go through and cut the top again for a second time?
Because you don't get paid twice.
No, you don't. I ain't got time to go through again. I've got 8 people waiting, I ain't got time. So you get paid once, cut it once. Be precise, be specific, be quite direct, have your techniques lined up, your systems you're going to use, okay? You should know the systems you're going to use before you start. And you do that for your consultation, you also do it for your toolkit, and you start looking at ideas. And it all depends on the hair type, it depends on the style, it depends on the length you're going to work at, and what tools you're going to use and how you're going to do it. So notice I'm using the clipper comb as a guard, I'm using to lift the hair out with, yeah? So the comb is the most important part of this haircut, because the comb, whatever's coming through this comb is allowing me to cut it off, isn't it? Make sense? And now I'm bulk removing. What do you use rotaries for? Bulk removal. It's a great bulk removing tool. It's non-resistant, it just takes it away. It's a great tool to remove bulk with, so is a pivot clipper. Magnetic clippers really for finishing. So if you're doing a crop on someone's hair, pivot or a rotary is the perfect clipper. Magnetic clipper runs too fast and therefore it's going to pull. Because it only has one running speed, doesn't it? Yeah? Rotary clipper has adjustable speed usually, and a pivot clipper has a slow speed. So it's not going to snag or pull the hair. So now I'm working through very, very lightly, and I'm using the clipper comb as a clipper guard, and notice it moves with my clipper. It moves with it, so it causes a smooth transition. It's not staying still, I'm not going up against the comb, I'm not causing any lines or ridging, because I'm moving at the same time. It's a moving clipper guard. That makes sense? Okay. So again I'm going to soften the temples. Why do I want to soften the temples on this haircut? What does it cause, the softened temple? When I soften the temples at the front, what does it make you look at?
Top of the head.
The top. You direct your eyes above, right? If I leave the temples really heavy, what do you look at? The eyes, if you notice this big heavy temple, forget the top. Yeah? So we're trying to give some height to Frank's hair over the side. So we're going to reduce the sides to give more dominance at the top, and then we're going to reduce the sides so we can blend into a smooth transition on the beard, okay? Okay. So let's get this down to the medium transition, then we introduce numbers, okay? Like we go back to level 2. So level 3 you would continue with your clip over comb until you finish. You wouldn't be allowed to introduce numbers. Because we're doing level 2 and level 3, I'll show you some level 3 techniques, now we're going to do level 2, okay? So again, chamfer, so we're coming with the grain. That's your chamfer blade. and that's the taper. Taper comes up, chamfer comes down. When they meet, they create a blend. Right, let's put number 1 in this. The reason we're going to do a number 1 is that I want to blend the beard in, so I want to soften the beard. Is that okay with you? Okay. So we start at 1.5 with the drawbridge open, okay? Remember that one? When it's closed, it's a 0, okay? Open. How many guards on your clippers? How many adjustable guards can you actually get on your 8 clippers when you've got them running? So you get a set of clippers, you've got 8 guards.
6.
How many have you got?
18. No, 16.
18 technically, yeah. You've got your open and closed.
Oh.
Okay, so it's 2. Then you've got your 8, which makes 16. 0.5s and 5s, yeah? 0s and 0.5s, okay? So that's a 1, then a 1.5, then a 2 and a 2.5, and so on and so forth. And then you've got your 0s and your 0.00, and then you've got your 0.5.
In the 18 no.
There's 16, there's 8 guards.
But you can get a 1, no. Is
Well, it's technically, yeah, there's normally 8 guards. You can get more guards, but generally speaking, you get a 1 to an 8. Sometimes you get a 0 guard, not often, unless you've got certain clippers on your handies don't do a 0 guard. They do a 0 guard on these, but that's really for detachable blades that haven't got a 0.5. Yeah, these have a 0.5. You use these because they're not adjustable, these are detachable, you put a 0.5 on that, that's your half. Okay, so the only time you'll use a 0 is when you're doing detachable clippers. But then you get a 0 blade anyway on that, you can get a 0 blade. That's a 3.0, goes down to 5.0, which is 0.2 mil, which is really, really tight, skin tight, okay? Generally speaking, when you buy any set of clippers, you'll get 8 guards of them usually. When we teach on stages, we always say there's 50 settings on a set of clippers, okay? It really gives you variety in your cutting. So you have techniques where you can put clipper numbers in. So we're going to do it on Frank's hair here. So we have got a 0.5 and we put a number 1 on it. So what we've done, we've stretched the guard out, so it's a 1.5. If you can hold your clippers this way, and you can go that way, it's a 90-degree blend, okay? It's this angle. See the angle there? So that's now coming up that way. That makes sense? Okay, everybody use their clippers like this. Remember that way?
Yeah.
Painting the wall, rolling the wall. Painting your ceilings, it's great. Okay? It's more C motion, it's more controlled. It's all the wrist, the hand stays in, it's control of the hand, okay? So, if you want to stretch your clipper guard usage out, that's a 90-degree. Put your finger down and bounce off that angle, that's 33 1/3. 90, 1/3, and then flat. Okay? So you've got 3 different motions, 8 clipper guards is 16, that's 48, and then you've got your open and close, that's your 50. So if you can really, really work a set of clippers, you can do anything with them. And you don't need the all singing, all dancing £600 pair of clippers. You can use your trendsetters and do all them moves with them, exactly the same. Okay, trendsetters are probably the best but cheapest hair tools I've ever used. I love trendsetters, I think they're brilliant. They're so hardy, unreal, they're such a brilliant tool.
They're the ones they've got in their kits.
Level 2, it's brilliant. These are the trendsetters here. And they are brilliant, brilliant clippers. They're really good. The net pivot clippers, they run particularly slow, it's quite nice. Okay? So, head down for me slightly. So what we're going to do, the 90-degree coming in now, just on the occipital line. You notice we said the occipital line, we're going to drop down now. So this is how we're going to build this in. So see the 90-degree angle I'm working on? I'm not sitting flat, I'm not sitting the angle, I'm coming up, yeah? And this is causing on the masculine line now. See that shape there? That's part of my blend down. Then my finger goes in there. This is 1.5, and I bounce off this with my finger underneath. That hits me back at the same angle all the way. Okay, see the angle dropping down? Okay. Apart from the disconnection here, which I've deliberately done so we can blend out, is there a line between that angle and that angle? Because I'm consistent with the shape. So I've used my fingers, the tools on my hands, we said about use your hands. We're using it to blend from the 90-degree, we're dropping it down by 1/3. Again, same clipper guard, same number, 1.5 on the clipper. And I'm putting my finger, as it comes back, it drops back to that position and bounces off. That finger guides it. That makes sense? Then we're going to drop it flat, head in, so my back don't bend. Remember that? And then we're going to go vertical, straight up. Now how soft's that transition now? Did I really work really hard and spend 3 hours putting a line in, taking a line out, putting a line in? Oh, I've got all these techniques. It's rubbish. It's BS end of the day. It's all about bravado. This is such a simple way of barbering, but it's incredibly effective. When I was working in the States, they actually don't move around the chair, they move the chair. They never move. The barbers stay in one place and the chair moves. They move with their knee, they don't move, because their light's perfectly in position. And they keep going, and they put their other hand and keep moving the chair. I watched it, it's really odd. I'd rather move around the chair. It's good. Who cuts facing the mirror all the time in their shops? Do you always face the mirror when you're cutting?
Yeah, but I don't look at the mirror.
Why not? It's a tool. Use the mirror. It's the best set of eyes you see because you see what they're seeing. I sometimes work deliberately away from the mirror. I turn the chair away so they talk to people in the chairs. Who has a dead silent barber shop and no one's talking? You've got a barber that don't talk in the chair. Who's worked with a barber that don't talk at all?
Really, I've never worked with anybody that doesn't.
I have. I've got one in my team now. Right? Lovely guy. He's got the personality of a cucumber at the moment. He's just something about him, and I'm just saying, he's very quiet. Lovely guy, sick sense of humour. He's got something about him. He's funny. On the chair, he's dead quiet. He's almost like, and the shop's busy and busy. And what he does when he's really quiet, how does that affect my client in his chair? Guess what that client does? He disconnects and just concentrates his haircut. What's that client doing? Everybody else is having fun talking. What's he do? Cuts them off. He's actually cut them off the whole shop. His experience is different to everyone. He wants to get swallowed up. It's horrendous. Watch their faces. Their whole face is not experiencing what everybody else is. Very selfish, I think, doing that to someone. He doesn't realise he does it, so I pointed out. I filmed him once. What do you think of that then? He went, oh, didn't realise that. So that's what you do. So every time he goes by, I kick him. I kick him. How are we doing? You alright? Oh, alright. How are we doing over there, Jelly? You busy? Oh yeah, Kevin, no words. Can't hear you. How you doing, Jelly? That's his name, James Jelly. Strange name. We've got 2 Jameses. James Gardner and James Jelly. He wants to be called Jelly. Bit weird. So we call him Jelly. Alright? But he's amazing. But when I kick him, I go, how are we doing, Jelly? You alright there? Busy? He went, oh yeah, Kevin, I'm fine. And he carries on talking. And it's a trigger saying, hello, wakey wakey, we're all here, we can hear you. Sorry, not hear you. Can't hear nothing coming out your gob. You're completely isolating your client. So what I told him to do, if he's not a conversationalist, turn the chair around, face the outside so you're not cutting him off, and listen to what he does. If you're a listener, great. If he's an engineer, you're an IT, okay? Frank's an IT. That's why I asked him what he does. So he's IT support for the college. His interest is internet, computers, that's his skill set. So, I might have a teacher in my client sitting there who teaches IT in another college, ironically. Because I know my clients, I know their names. Here, Frank said, meet so-and-so. He's a gentleman who works in another college, he does IT. Frank, so-and-so, Frank. And they get chatting naturally because he's facing like he's sitting there waiting. I carry on cutting in silence. Great, I'm not cutting him off. Use your chairs to connect people. If you're not a connector, let someone else in, but don't cut them off. I do it all the time. So I say to him, if you can't hold a conversation, which obviously you can't, turn the chair backwards and let him have a conversation with someone else. Or join into the noise of the shop, or the buzz or the banter or whatever you've got in the shop. Do not disconnect your customers. They will never sit with you again, will they? By doing that, you're saving your arse, basically, aren't you? So again, using this chair and turning the chair, it's a tool. Use it. It's a brilliant tool. Okay. So now we're going down to the baseline at a 1, okay? We've gone from a 0.5, 1.5. Head down slightly for me, Frank, so I like my back straight. There we go. I like my back. It's a big old back. It's been a long while. It's done me well. Right. You see I'm dropping this down lightly, okay? What do you know about Frank neckline goes? Breaks. It breaks down, doesn't it? So, let's go over to a pivot blade, which you work with on level 2. So what I've done is a 1.5 down to a 1. See the shape coming down naturally? Is that a good shape to the side? Does it jump? It's smooth, isn't it? That's because I work from the occipital line to the masculine bones down. I've worked in that section. I've been very specific where I've cut. I haven't crossed any lines. I haven't made this come up here. I haven't lost the sides. I've got all this to do still. There's lots to do. I'm going to show you how we do this. So 0.5 open clip on the trendsetter. How quiet they are, but how slow they run. They run slower. So the more controlled. So again, I come up from the base on 0.5 and we're using the C motion, yeah? Why do I use the C motion here? Why don't I just do that going into the 1?
I'm going to go with
I don't want to go over what I've already done. I've already done a 1. I don't want to go at 0.5. So just knock the 1 out. What's the point? I'm dropping the shape, isn't I? Yeah, I'm turning it down. So now I'm working lower and lower and lower. And this is how you do a drop fade. This is very, very low. So now all I'm doing on the trendsetter is working below that bone. Just softening down very, very lightly. There's no line gone in, is there? I won't put a line in, I haven't done anything. Which I want to take out again. And then we drop it down to a quarter, so you go from 0.5 halfway up. And again you come below that, you don't go above it, you don't go above and put another line in. And you notice when I go down to a 0, how I use my clippers differently. At the moment, I'm tapering, yeah? When I go down to a 0, watch what I do differently. What am I doing?
Are you circling it?
I'm circling. I'm curve blending.
Soft curve.
I'm curve blending. I'm polishing. When you take a mirror in your salon, and you've got smears in it, you go up and down. What does that cause?
Streaks.
Brilliant. But that's why you clean the mirror, get rid of the streaks, don't you? So what's your natural reaction? What do you do?
Rub it out.
Yeah? So what do you do on someone's hair when you get a line out?
Rub it out.
Do you go up and down?
No.
You know, it don't work. You should prove that in mirrors. It doesn't work. So you polish it. Yeah, it's simple. It makes sense. It's a transferable skill. Yeah? Naturally, you polish out. If you want to get rid of anything, you polish out. So I'm just polishing out the baseline. Okay? So now this shape is coming right down to the base. That makes sense? Okay? Okay, keep with the trendsetters. I'm now going to put the back line in here, okay? So we close the clipper down. My blade is pointing outwards. Why do I have the blade pointing outwards in this cut? Why don't I have the blade like that? Turn the blade that way, I can see the blade. Same technique as that. What gives me more control? That way or that way? That way. So who's in control of the chair, me or the customer? Me. So I've got to work, haven't I? So I'm now working controlled. Okay, so I'm now coming on the outside with my pivot clipper. Clipper's now closed. Now I'm working downwards and taking off here, so it's clean. Okay? So far that's looking quite sweet, isn't it? Nice and soft. Is that okay? It's a bit of work to do still, we know that. That's fine. But I'm now getting shape in. What I'm trying to work is shape and making sure I stick to the shape I want to put in Frank's hair. Have we touched the top, made it any shorter? No. Great, isn't it? I haven't gone so short there, but now it affects the sides, which then going to affect the top, and then it's going to affect the shape. The shape's what I wanted. The shape what Frank and me agreed before we started. Short at the sides, graduated down, we can now blend into the beard and see how it's going to blend in there, can't you? It's going to be consistent across that line, we can see it. And we're going to use the same techniques there as we did here. Okay, we need to do that. Meanwhile, we're going to connect over the ear. Why don't I shave it away around the ear? Why don't I just get rid of around the ear? Why don't I just get rid of all this and make it really, really short here? Why don't I do that?
You've got to blend it to your sideburn.
Because that looks soft and then that looks soft. That gives the strength between. It gives the perception that them two areas are soft and this side's got continuity. It's a deception of the eye. It's a creative shape, yeah? I could come here and fade this all out here and it will just disappear. From there downwards it just all disappear. What I've done, I've given a real professional taper. I've come up low behind the masculine bone, kept it full here, and now I'm going to chamfer down here. So it actually separates the areas. It looks really quite nice. What you see in Photoshop and all that heaviness, and then it goes blended here and it goes blended here. Yeah, it's about a bit of style, a little bit of panache in it. You know, it's not just about a basic skin fade. So by keeping it quite full, what we're doing is making the fade at the back even stronger. It makes it look more dominant because you've got that connecting layer between the two. Again, my blade comes out. I'm just going to turn this in here to the side. So it'll fade, and this will fade as well, but the back line's quite strong in between, okay? It looks nicer. So it goes soft, hard, soft, soft. This looks stronger, the shape's good. It's a nice haircut. I think you're going to wax in, mate. I think you're good at happy days. You married?
I am.
She's been for a treat, isn't she? Come on, my God, you're handsome, Frank. Easy life. It's Tuesday, Wednesday night, leave it. Wait till Saturday. Anyway, wait till Saturday, get a bottle of wine in, you know what I mean? Kids are out. Anyway.
It's never going to happen.
Never gonna happen. You married? Yeah, that's why. Anyway, I'm married, let's be honest. Okay, I'm going to soften the front off. 0.5 on the blend. Watch what I'm going to do with this beard. 0.5 that way, straight in. Is that going to take all the hair away, do you think?
No, because you've
It's a
got-
0.5.
you've
That's
got control of
damaging. 0.5. Wow, come straight off, doesn't it? Surely.
it. Well, it would if you went up.
Yeah.
But
If you
won't
taper, you're going to take it out. The hair sits in the cutting blade. That way the hair touches the cutting blade. Watch. Backwards. That's called your chamfer. So you've got your 0.5, you've got your 1 there, we're going to chamfer off. That's a 0.5. How about that for a blend? How hard was that? Nice? Easy, isn't it? Then you do your 0.5. Ready, watch. 0.5 open. And then your 0.5 on a 90 degree upwards, because it's the strongest it'll be, does that disconnection. Soft blend in and out. No line? No line? Can you see a line in it? Easy? Yeah? Because I'm using these differently. It's amazing how you can use your tools differently all the time, different ways of working your tools. I'm actually going to soften using that corner of the tool and soften around the ear. And the reason I want to soften around here because on top of the ear, behind here, it's quite strong. So there you've got your dominant shape. Soft, dominant, soft. It connects through, there's continuity. Let's do the other side the same, okay? In fact, we've still got a beard here, mate. Okay, 0.5. We're going to do it over the comb, using the clip of the comb as a guard. So it's like a 1.5 over the guard. Again, we know the height and the depth because we're coming from the side over here. 0.5, we're going to flick in on a 90 degree. Soften the temporal line, soften just on the ear. Turn it round and we're going to go 0.5 onto the beard. And we're just going to touch into the temples. So there's that continuity to the bottom of the ear here. Just taking it down and then we turn it a 90 degree upwards. Again, it's the longest point. And we're going to blend it out. And that's called a burst fade, where it bursts either way. Okay, so when you see burst fading, where it's short and it goes long around the ear, that's how they do it, it's burst fading. Taking the clippers and using them in different angles. Okay, that makes sense? Okay, again, edge out, and there's your strength behind the ear, and there's your strength from the bone there. And that's why I didn't suddenly go all the way around with the clipper and start taking it all here as well. I didn't want to do that. It's a bit more grown up and it's a bit more tailored. It's not, Frankie's not 10 years old. He's not 15-year-old with a hoodie hanging around the streets on a Wednesday night with his mates and his BMX. Alright? You don't want a 15-year-old skin fade. You don't want it.
That's Friday night.
Friday's wine night. Yeah, sorry, Wednesday's wine night, Friday night's BMX night with his mates. Guess what I done Wednesday? His mates, guess what I did? Can't believe it, I did, honestly. Got wine and everything. Anyway. So it's all about trying to change your skills to the person in front of you. So a skin fade on someone like Frank, who's a teacher, a professional person, in a position where he's smart, and he's in authority, and he's got a position where he has to set an example, he doesn't want a 15-year-old haircut. Okay? Now you get the barbers, I do a skin fade, bang, 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 same skin fade in every single person. It don't work. When you're seeing people's haircuts, you go, wow, it's awful. But technically it's a good haircut. It's the wrong person. Wrong haircut, wrong person. Great haircut, totally the wrong model. Totally the wrong person wearing that haircut. But that's the haircut that person knows and does it the same way. Because that's where you're not trained, you're not doing qualification, you just knock haircuts out. And there's a difference between you and the barbers out there because you'll have a different skill set. You'll be able to diversify your work. I can diversify anything. I can adapt it after 20 odd years to any one of my clients to make sure they're happy. I don't, but Frank, as lovely as he is, and as handsome as he's starting to look, it's incredible, women, behave yourself, very handsome, okay? When he's finished, he will look professional gentleman. He won't look like a 15-year-old with a hoodie. So he don't want to look like that. His wife think, what's going on? No one night for you. Right. Okay. So now I'm just going to finish this burst fade here, and then we're going to introduce clippers to the back. So we're going to finish this cut off very, very quickly. I'm going to pop your head down for me, Frank. I'm just going to do a little bit of polishing, chamfer tapering with the trendsetters, okay? And I'm going to go through, as you can see here, and I'm going to work down the haircut on my areas, and I'm going to soften this all out, clip over comb, okay? I'm using the trendsetters because they run slow, and this is how I would chamfer taper in a shop, yeah? So I'd use the clippers. And that's how I would soften a haircut out. Okay, very soft, yeah? But it's all clip over comb, no numbers. It's much easier, much tidier. Okay, so I'm going to work on this section here. So I'm looking at the shape, I would come up on it. That's my taper. As I'm coming up, I'm curving it away from the chamfer. I'm not following it straight up, so I'm coming round with it, yeah? There's not a typical line, so I can see it there. See the blend? Softer. Is that okay? But it's still a skin fade in the back, but it's a very, very low one. Okay? We'll do the same on this side. So the weight behind here, all this weight in this area we've got to deal with now. So now we're going to work that out now. So again, I want to keep that heaviness over the ear. So we're going to come off that and taper off the weight line we put in on the ear. And then we're just going to watch the angle change of my clippers. I'm coming down, chamfering, yeah? Taper, chamfer, taper, chamfer, coming onto it. That makes sense? So I'm working the hair through a clipper and comb. I'm changing the angles I'm using the clipper. Absolutely constantly changing the angles. You can't do that with a number on the clipper. You can't do that angle change. So it's about tailoring the shape on the back. We're going to introduce foilers down the base, and I'll show you how the foiler works. A foiler is a rotary clipper, and it runs at a massive 9,000 spins per minute. It is the fastest clipper you can get. And inside the foiler, there's two cutting blades. Pop that off, you can see inside it. You've got carbon blades, which don't rust, so you can put them in water to clean. And then you've got two cutting blades made of carbon fibre. Okay? They're washable, you can wash them. And they pop back on, okay? The side pops off to clean, and they literally just pop on, okay? And they work on two compressed areas, okay? And they follow the shape of the face of the head. So they follow the contour. So if you're shaving that, it will follow the contours. It will go in and out on the side of my hand, okay? When you're tapering, you do that way. When you're chamfering, you turn it the opposite way. Like you would the clipper, no different. That way or that way, okay? And they compress in. The cutting blades on the inside, the foiler stops you cutting the skin. Should you damage the foiler head, throw the foiler heads away. You will cut someone, okay? So you can buy replaceable heads, or you can buy replaceable, these are replaceable as well, okay? The carbon cutters, okay? But keep them clean, keep them sprayed, keep them neat, okay? They take 2 hours to charge and they run for 2 hours. Constant. So that's quite a lot of power in a little machine. Okay, you can use them corded, but it's not advisable. Okay, use them cordless.
Do you have to be quite firm with it? Because we talk about it, I ought to.
Yes and no. I think you've got to be quite light with them. But again, that C motion I talked about is really important, the C motion. Okay, because you're cold. So again, I'm using the shape. Want to come and watch how I use the foiler, yeah? You would use a foiler on someone who's got a very soft neck that doesn't want to away from the neck. The foiler is a really good way of doing it. Look at the motion I'm using, it's that clip motion. There's your foiler. How's that feel, Frank?
Okay, good.
Okay, just taking it down. You've got to take it down to the lowest you can normally, so you can use your detailers, your DH, your D4s, whatever you want to use, because that produces the outside baseline. So you've got your continuity from the corners, the weight over the ear, and then you bring it into the base here. See that shape behind the ear with the comb line? Remember the comb line we said earlier? So you can take it right down. Remember we're going below the collar line? You don't want a hair roll neck, does it, next week? Take it right down and tip the head to the side, so I've got some more light and I look directly on that line. I've created over the ear here, the strength. Again, I'm pivoting and then I'm coming straight down that baseline. See the shape? And then you flick in very, very lightly and then use your foiling right behind that. And you are literally flicking into your baseline to soften it right out, okay? And that's how you would use a foiler, okay? So you'll put your strength from the side here, take it down to your detailers. And back bend, you can use your detailers backwards and flick in backwards on your detailer. Same as your trend set or anything else, because the cutting blade's on the inside. So you can very, very lightly do your cutting. But it's less than doing it that way. So again, then use the foiler behind that. You know it's cutting anyway, can't you? It isn't about going mad. Anything above that sort of length, foiler will miss, because it is very, very tight. So you look at the size of them holes, if you had long hair like this, it wouldn't touch it. You wouldn't be able to cut it. So you've got to drop it down to cut it, okay? So you use your taper blades, your fade blade if need be, your D8 or your D4s, and then use your foilers behind that, okay? Okay, one little thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use a fade blade which will find, the blade I'm using here you would find on a set of US blades, the gold ones. So this is a fade blade, it's not a bevel blade. And this is about just sorting that baseline out lightly there. And it is lightly, and it's that C motion. You must get your C motion right there. It's that consistency in the wrist, yeah? Sometimes I put my hand there so it stops me going up too high. That's a goal, so it helps me. And again, one want better light, or move the chair. I'll make sure I don't stand in my own light, yeah? But have I, at any point in this haircut, stuck a line in and took a line out? What a complete waste of time. Because I've achieved it much quicker. It's neater than doing that, because there is no line in the hair. You can't see a visible line in the hair, because there isn't one. And I've achieved all we had to do without putting the line in, take the line out, put the line in, take the line out, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to do it. Okay? Okay, last thing I'm going to do is the beard shape on things here, and then we're going to razor cut, okay? Let me razor cut first. Well, a razor cut, use a duff blade and a sharp blade. The sharp blade, I use a black and a white blade, okay? The white blade is a duff blade, a blade I've used already on shaving, which I won't use on the face, I'm going to use it on the hair, okay? Because it's already took the edge off it, okay? You don't want to use a dead sharp new blade on hair. Why don't you want to do a dead sharp new blade on hair? You are going to take a load of hair out. You're going to get a big old mess out of it, it'll be lovely. Finished haircut, you're going to go and ruin it. So use a duff blade. So that's what you do with your old blades. You use one for the hair, and then you transfer the new blade into a brand new one for the face, okay? Each time you use the face, you put a new blade in, because of hygiene. That makes sense? So, with Frank's hair, it wants to come across, but you've got this wonderful cow's lick in the middle of it, right underneath there, okay? And you've got the crown that wants to move, so this is how I'm going to work it. We damp the hair lightly. The reason we damp it lightly when we do this, it gives me a little bit more tension on the comb. It's not about being wet. I don't wet hair. I want tension on the comb, because the comb's going to guide the hair for me to razor, okay? When you razor faces and you're shaving faces, your blade is flat because it's a polished edge. When you're shaving on a horizontal there, aren't you? Yeah? What would you do if you shave like that on someone's face? What would it do?
Cotton.
You just rouge their skin. It'll be like tissue paper. If you done that on someone's face, shaving, what would you do?
Take chunks of it out.
You'll have chunks of skin coming out, okay? So it's a polished flat edge, it's a honed edge. On a blade you've got the toe, the heel, the toe, the heel, the back, the tang and the handle, okay? That's your separate parts. You hold your blade like that all the time, 3 fingers to 1 finger. You pinch either side and you have the blade over, okay? If you need more control, you move your thumb to the front. So it gives you more balance. It's all about control, okay? So when I'm doing hair, do I do it flat? Would I go really flat on the hair? What does that do when you're shaving someone?
Skin out.
It takes loads of hair out. It's a polished edge. If I'm doing someone's head, I want to take loads out. So what do I do? What position do I put the blade? 90 degree. It takes less out. It's not as effective. And it's a duff blade, so it's not going to tear the hair. Okay? So it's all about using your tools correctly. So a 90 degree bend on the hair. The comb is giving tension, and all I'm doing is working the hair. So it's a 90 degree over. The comb is sitting directly. I'm not going onto the root. The comb is lifting the hair and creating a support for the blade. Okay? So what I'm going to do with Frank's hair is just raise it over. This is called external blending. Okay? It's external texture. On the outside, all I'm doing is pulling the shape of the haircut and pulling it in tighter. If I lifted the hair and went inside it, what does that create? 2 things it does when I go inside the hair. With the corner of a blade, the toe of the blade, what would it do?
Texture.
Give texture. What else would it give me? What's it taking hair out? Taking out. What does that mean? Yeah, bulk removing. You're removing volume. So that removes volume and adds texture. This creates shape and also creates a smooth finish on the outside. Every time you do something, it gives you 2 reasons to do it. Yeah, when you do a haircut and you follow guides around, you do one bit and carry the guide. Yeah, to the next bit. So you're cutting at that angle, not to cut the hair, but also to produce the guide for the next part. It's a travelling guideline. Everything you do has 2 reasons. If you haven't got 2 reasons, don't do it. Because one leads to the next. It's a system. Makes sense? So everything you're doing creates a system. So I'm doing this to create external texture and smoothness and to reduce bulk on the outside very lightly. But more importantly, is to assist in that blend. Okay, when I get to the corner of the parietal ridge, I'm going to change something. I'm going to go razor over comb this way. And I'm going to taper. Using the edge of the blade, like you would a scissor over comb or clip over comb. I'm tapering, okay? Like scissor over comb, the comb moves and the blade goes in. That makes sense? So this is razor over comb. So there's that way and there's this way. There's that way. One way's tapering, one way's chamfering. Okay, again it's a very similar transition, okay? So what I'm going to do is go around the crown and soften all around the crown here. Head down pretty slowly, Frank, thank you. You've got heaviness in the crown there, and watch the blade's vertical move. It's vertical, isn't it? It's not flat, is it? How am I moving the comb? What am I doing with the comb? What's the comb doing? The blade's doing the comb. What's the comb doing?
You follow the shape of the head.
Following the shape of the cut. I'm following the way the hair moves. See what's coming out? Softens all the blend, softens the shape. I'm tailoring it. I'm taking that last little bit that everybody else leaves and it all pops up. This won't happen on Frank's hair. This will be the best haircut I've ever had. And it's free. But it's great, isn't it? Any good? But it's all about tailoring. Because if Frank was in my shop, I want to make sure that I do a haircut he would never get elsewhere. And no one else can repeat, only my team or me can do.
You're putting your stamp on it.
You know what someone said the other day to me, and it's true, everything you do in hair leaves a footprint. It's a footprint. You can pick someone's out, Julie, after X amount of years experience and see how it was cut. I can. And I can walk in a room and I can say, see your hair there on the side, there's a peak in that corner. If you lift it up, it's there. Because you can see where the weight distribution lays. And I walk past my barbers and go, check that left-hand side again. And they go, oh, I said, check the left-hand side. Just in front of the temples, there's a peak. And they go, bang, there it is. They go, how'd you see that? Because I know it's laying. I can tell how it's laying. You've missed a section. And they pick up, cut it out, and it lays perfectly. But they've got to start seeing it. But that's because you looked at loads and loads of heads. It's obsessive, isn't it? It's great, but the more you start seeing it, the more you start seeing it, and it drives you mad. So it's all about perfection. So every haircut I do, I try and perfect it a bit deeper, and I try and look at how I can improve it. So when you're doing your consultation, when you're doing your finishing work, when Julie's assessing you, or you've got the EV in, look at your work, take a step back before you call them over, and say, how can I improve that? I don't want to polish it, I don't want to overdo it, I don't want to gild the lily, so to speak, I want to make sure it's perfect, but I want to have another little look and look round it, look at the light, look round the haircut, step off the chair, have a look round. How can I improve the shape? How can I make it perfect before I dress it out? No point dressing it out and then going in there and do that bit and it's all product on it. It's no good, okay? It is all about shape and definition and movement on hair, yeah? Hair's a material, it's like anything, it's an absolute material. And a great dressmaker can take a piece of cloth and make the most beautiful dress. And it starts off with a bit of cloth. A barber and a hairdresser can do the same, or they can just cut hair. You can just churn out haircuts, it's your choice. I don't want to be an average barber, never have done, never will be, it's just not me, I would never do it. So you've got to live and love it, and I think if you perfect what you do, it becomes almost obsessive how you do it, it's got to be done the right way. And as we said earlier, what do you want to do with your careers, where do you want to go? It's took me everywhere, because I'm a perfectionist in what I do, I want it right. So it gets recognised, things what you do get recognised, I'm very fortunate. I'm fortunate to be able to leave my 2 shops in Essex today, name what they're running, and my barbers are working my systems correctly, I could be here to teach you. Because I do things right, they're fine. I don't even get a phone call, not a thing. I might text them and go, how's it going? It's okay, don't panic, you walk about it, done. It's all fine, don't worry about it, enjoy Preston, go on, get on with it, have fun. Right, so I'm just going back in, I'm just going to perfect. Another little technique which we can use with the whole eyes, which you've got in your kits at level 3, is called pendulum cutting. Now, I took it to the States, no one ever done this in the States, and I took it to the States and they filmed it and it went a bit viral, it went a bit mental over there with it, because they said, I'm not cutting any hair off. It was show, but you are cutting hair off. And they slowed it right down and went in, and you are cutting hair. What you're doing, you're putting internal movement and volume, but you're doing it with a consistent pendulum movement with the hair. Okay? So you're using an open clipper, and at that 90-degree angle you've got your finger on when we're doing that 90-degree blending. You're going in on fine hair, and you're creating a pendulum movement. You're pinching either side of the body of the clipper, and you're swinging it. And as you're swinging it, you're moving the hair. And what it does, it removes bulk and gives texture inside. It makes a massive difference when you style the hair. Okay? So we're going to do this with Frank's hair because it's quite fine, but I want to put more volume in it. So we're going to go inside and we're just going to pendulum cut on the inside there. What this does, just creates more movement on that blend. It's on the last go, it's not the whole haircut, yeah? It gives you more movement. See the hair coming out?
That was really good.
Okay, but what that does is consistent control. And my finger stays there so it doesn't go any further than that. It's the same movement, like a pendulum clock. You're taking bulk out without taking any length. It's quite nice, isn't it?
That's amazing.
It's
I've
nice,
got to
isn't it?
practice that.
Right, practice it
Cross
though,
again.
be careful.
Yeah.
Right, okay, take your clipper comb. See the weight here you get?
Yeah.
And I can't touch it, I don't want to touch it, so watch what the pendulum cut does.
Never look at it, is it?
That's it, isn't it?
That's why I work for Andis, because I do lots of little things, I take tools and use them in different ways. It's better than using thinning scissors, it's better than using thinners, it's better than doing anything. But what it's doing is creating more internal movement, more shape to a haircut.
We'll do that next week. We'll practice out the blocks
But this is your tools you've got in your kits, you can do this with your tools. And the reason you can do it today is the weight of them is so light. They're incredibly light, you can do it with them. They try and do a big set of clippers you're dropping, yeah? They've got the body either side, pinch them like that, you put your finger at the bottom, and as you do it, you put your finger to the side. So you've got more control. And it's always on an alternate 5. But look at that shape now.
Wow, that's mad.
Go on then, what was that for?
Nice?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so that's pendulum cutting. So it's about going inside and changing the way you do everything with finish, yeah? You can do it around a haircut. And what this does, it makes Frank's hair look a lot thicker. It sits better, the whole thing.
Pendulum.
Like a pendulum of a clock. It's moving that way, yeah? What do you think of the shape of his hair?
Wow.
Looks nice, doesn't it? So, let's use, whilst you're standing there, let's do the beard, okay? So you're going to use your pole eyes. Use your pole eyes, doing it a 0.5 backwards like we did the side, we're going to do the beard. So you come at the top there, and you chamfer out. If you do it that way, you'll take the beard off. You're doing it that way, okay? It has to be a 0.5, okay?
Is that how much still on?
And this again,
Yeah,
chamfers.
Is it just taking like the wispy bits out?
It's shaping it. It's coming down like the tiles of the house. Short of hair, long of hair.
This is what Jade was saying. This is how I was taught to back your hair, isn't it?
I do afro hair this way. Exactly what I do afro hair, like.
Because you know exactly when you, especially with afro, or what type, let's get it right, type 4. If you go underneath and you get underneath it, you're going to take more off, even if you've got a guide on it. But if I'm doing it even with a guide on, I'll turn it upside down.
Also, you get more likely windblown hairs as well if you go too short. So it's about actually taking it off properly. Again, with this, we're going to come round the shape. So we're going to freehand this in, okay? It's all about shape. By doing it backwards on a 0.5, you're not actually taking any main length of, you're taking the stragglers. Now, when you do scissor cutting with 0.5, or sorry, clipping with 0.5, that's your level 2 and your level 3. Then if you've got to do scissor work on a beard, use your scissors. And I use both scissors then clippers. What I then do, when I do a beard, I have my scissor hand dead still and I just use my thumb. Okay? So I look down the edge and I soften this section by keeping the inside line straight.
I clean people's neck flat.
But this is straight, this is your scissor control. The inside blade doesn't move, that stays. That's why when you do this, you can never chuck beards because you will cut the skin. So learn to do that.
Yeah,
Well, that's how I teach.
Opposite, aren't we?
Yes.
No.
So what I
not
do-
if you've been in my classroom, you do what he's doing.
And then you come across the chin, you put your head right next to your head and I turn the head. But I keep my scissors consistent, I move the head.
I've noticed men are more flexible than they won't move their head really.
Okay?
What did you say then? Did you say that men don't move their heads?
No, I said they do, but women don't. When you tell them to move.
Does it feel good? Okay. So, let's go underneath the jawline. Do you want a baseline on it so you can see a new jawline to the base, or do you want it low, or do you want it natural? What do you tend to prefer if you've had it done before?
I tend to have it just coming round,
Okay, so it's quite low, yeah?
but I'm open to advice.
Okay. If you put the baseline beside him
Just do
here,
what I wanted.
beside him, again, that high line down the side we said earlier. Okay, you do the same this side.
Oh, I don't. I like them.
Yeah.
They're really cool, aren't
You know,
they?
like on Instagram and everything else.
Go on Instagram.
Most people
I have
have
no social media at the moment.
See the straight line makes it look more dominant, yeah? Okay, head up from this side.
I just think that is the. Are they detailers?
These are outlines, T outlines.
Outliners.
These are the same as the corded, but they come out as cordless this year. Get a new cordless out this year. And then you work from the middle, so you work to the edge. Again, these are magnetic clippers, and the reason why they're magnetic, they run very, very fast. Okay? Right, so we take another blade now, okay? You would use oil on a blade if you're going to use oil. I quite like doing straw unfortunately, so I don't mind doing this. And again, I curve a blade, I never have a straight blade, I curve it. So you would use oil on this if you're doing a neck line on this, okay?
You done that dry?
But I would, but it's not a dead sharp blade. And what I'm doing is just putting your baseline in very lightly. To the side, we've got this heaviness here, so we stretch the skin and you use your toe your blade and you'd come round, okay? And then you use your toe and heel and put your heavy line in, okay, to there.
It's not a new blade.
No, it's not a new blade, it's an old blade.
I'm saying don't ever.
No. So I said it's a duff blade, that's why I've used it. It's just to do the edges, it's not shaving. as I said earlier.
You shouldn't do it with
I
the
do
shower
it
when
with
dried, not dry.
No.
You can do it if
So
you
you can
buy
do
it
it
done.
oil and you can heat the face, but we're not doing that here, okay? But you would heat the face,
Yeah.
you'd heat the face, put a new blade in, etc.
Yeah.
I've just finished doing someone's neck with this, so it's a new blade, but it's no, it wouldn't be used for that. I need this, my black one.
Like 2,000 layers of skin to take off.
I would use this when I'm lining beards out,
Yeah.
because it's a soft blade.
You were bleeding everywhere.
I would use this just to line the beard out with. And I'm not shaving the face, I'm just taking the edge of the beard out. There we go. So I just put the shape in. That's all I've done. Okay? Alright? And I've left that clean enough for him to follow.
Yeah.
If I was going to line it out properly and put a hot towel on, I would do it all correctly, but we're not going to do that today. It's just to give you shape. My priority is back blending the beard in and out. That's what I was going to try and show you. But I didn't want to leave him with a rough beard and a nice haircut. I want to make sure we've done the beard as well. Okay? Shape-wise, haircut-wise, come through and tell me the techniques we've done on this haircut. What have we done? Go through your level 2, level 3. What have we covered?
Start off. What techniques have you used?
Everybody using the techniques. So tell me one thing you've seen I've used on this haircut. Just one thing each. Flip over comb, okay? What else have you seen today?
Razor, avocado.
Good, very good.
Razor over comb.
Raise over comb, yeah? Go for the haircut. Go from the beginning. So first when we're done, set the profile, part bone, club cutting. So we use club cutting. We cross-checked every 3 moves. We cross-checked, yeah? So we cross-checked every 3 moves. We set the profile, part of bone, part of ridge. We pulled the ridge out, so we retained the length. Went back in and put the square layer off the square ridge and brought it down to the medium transition. Okay. We then introduced the 1.5 or the 2, and we had the 2 base and the 1.5. 2 up to here, 1.5 on the occipital line to the masculoid, and we worked down the fade. And we went back in. And remember, we club cut round the comb over the crown with the clippers. A clipper technique would look like scissor work because you can't see the difference. It shows the differentiation between scissor work and clipper work. They haven't got to be too diverse. You can do clipper techniques with scissors, scissor techniques with clippers. What have we done in the beard? Scissor and clipper. We use both techniques. We crossed them. Okay, we crossed 2 techniques. We then done reverse blending. We chamfered, then we tapered. Yeah. Then we razor over combed. Another technique. Then we also used the burst fade. Heaviness, light, heavy. Light, heavy, light. Gives you more definition and more shape. Okay. A bit more of a grown-up haircut. We've softened the edge with scissors so it carries that consistency. So it's not a hard line here, we've actually done it quite soft. We chamfered the tash and we cleared the top lip with scissors, we chamfered it with the clippers. We put the hard line in, we softened it out. We put the base line in by putting the square jawline in, and that gives you the guide for the round neckline. So we work from the middle to the edge, from the middle to the edge, the 2 guides. The 2 guides come from the back, okay? We've texturised it. We went through internally, externally with a razor, and went internally with a pendulum cut. So it softens the movement. His hair was quite wavy when it came in. Look how we tamed it. It's a totally different haircut, and it looks different. It looks softer. Have we cut his cow's lip off? No. Have we accommodated the neck wells and the curls and the hair? Brilliant. We're going to blow dry it now. Okay. I'm going to use a blow dry. Use this. I can use this quickly. I might hit it if not. Use mine. Okay. We're going to blow dry. The reason we're going to blow dry, we're going to show you the beta and the keratin state. Okay? So, let's put the hair dryer in and let's get this done. Frank's been very patient. Thank you, Frank. Okay. You say called a flat top brush. Okay? It's a pro tip brush. It's nylon, and what this does, it retains heat. So when you're talking about bending hair and reforming it in the beta state, from the keratin state, at the moment it's keratin, at the moment it's reset, it's a natural state. We want to get it to a beta state, so we heat it and it breaks the bonds temporarily. This is a heat retaining brush, alright? So if I put some heat on this now, you're amazed how this holds heat. Look at that. Hot? That holds heat quickly. Okay, so this is like a setting brush, and what this is going to allow me to do is lift the root to give Frank more volume. Okay, you can use something like salt spray, which gives you root lift because that gives you a salt solution. It swells around the cuticle when you heat it. So again, it's a product you can use, something we use at the shop. I've got my own, but we're going to just do the brush. We're going to lift it. I'm going to do something to the front of his hair using a vent brush. I'm going to jet the hair, right, at the front. So again, using different brushes, different techniques. This smooths the condition out, it smooths the cuticle, and all that texture we put inside now, and the way I'm blow drying, I'm moving the hair, yeah? Look at the smoothness of that. By just the different techniques in there coming out in the blow dry. It's the finish, isn't it, yeah? And this is all your finishing techniques. So the crown I'm going to burn away and push it to the corners, and I'm lifting it, so I'm bending the root. I'm using the heat to bend the root, okay? I'm bending it this way, then I'm going to bend it that way. When I raise the hair, what did I do when I raised it? What did I do when I raised the hair externally? I moved it. I moved the hair. I cause it to move. So what am I doing? I'm blow drying the movement. I'm pushing the movement in. I'm helping it move around, yeah? I'm causing it to move. So all that texture I put in the razor can now be seen and I blow dried it in. See the movement I put in? Now that crown was a bit of an awkward one when we started. It's not awkward. Nothing's hard. Hair is not hard to cut. When everybody says, oh, it's really hard. Disbelieve them. It's rubbish. No one's hair is hard to cut. Okay, it's a poor barber says that, okay? Right, Frank's hair wants to come across when I lift it. So we use a vent brush. The reason we use a vent brush is fast flow, okay? And it allows heat to move through it. So it puts it in a keratin state and cools it immediately because it's open. Right, so I lift it, put heat in, bend it, leave it. Set it up. Okay, we'll lift it. So it's very simple blow drying. Something that Frank can do himself. It's very, very, very easy. We're going to use that cow's lip, okay? We'll use it to come across. We're going to heat it, bend it, heat it, bend it, heat it, bend it. Every time you want it to cool down, take it dry away. Put it in, take it away. Bend it. It sets it in the keratin state, in the B keratin state, yeah? Correct? Okay. So, let's get this to stick up in the corner and use the cow's lip, okay? Again, I'm moving the hair, yeah? I'm getting it through. It's flowing very, very quickly. Now I'm getting Frank's hair to kick across. Okay, now I'm using his cow's lip to help me. And then I'm going to come back inside. And I'm going to soften that corner in so it's part of the haircut. And that's why I raise the hair, because I've got it all to sit where I want it to sit. Okay? Cool? Nice? Right, when it's finished, when the haircut's finished, now I blow dry it looks different, okay? What do I do now it's totally finished? Before I call my accessor, before I polish it, before I put anything in it. What do I do?
What I tell them all the time, take a step away.
Looking at it, I'm looking at everything on it. If I put products on that, it's going to be a bugger to try and cut it. I don't want products on it. If there's nothing on that hair, I've not used any products other than tonic on it. The tonic's also acts as a blow dry lotion, which is quite cold. So I'm looking at shape. I'm looking at light, I'm looking at shape, I'm looking at how it sits, all of it. And I can see weight line here I've got to take out, so I'm going to come back inside and it's dry. And I'm going to scissor over the comb very, very, very lightly. And I'm going to perfect it. Because I'm a tailor of hair, that's what I do. I want to do the best haircuts that everyone's ever seen. That's my job. And I want to be the best barber everyone's ever worked with. Yeah? So I'll always strive, even after 28 years, to do every haircut better than the last one. Because that's the bit that makes me Kev Vorley. That's what I do. So I'm just going to go back in and I'm going to polish out. Get down slightly from your front. So I'm looking at shape, I'm looking at everything I'm doing. So I'm just going to polish it out very, very lightly.
7 inch.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but what, when we scissor over the comb, you need scissors that length, because otherwise you just...
Not that
No,
little ones I've got.
No, if you have them nail scissors that you like use, then you can show every single mark that there is.
Everything you do leaves a footprint, doesn't it? Yeah? So now I'm looking at this area now. It takes me minutes to go through it. But before your assessor gets hold of your haircut, do this. Because once you say that's ready, now assess it, especially in EV, you can't get involved. Julie can't step in, no one can step in and go, get yourself down there, look at that temple. Oh, I forgot it. Oh, I forgot the bit, I forgot that bit.
Think about synoptic testing, these synoptic tests and stuff, that's what's
So
good.
looking at everything properly. Nice little technique, pop the hair down to the back. Okay. It's incredibly soft way we've done it as well. Again, taking the very edges out, making sure nothing overhangs. We don't want to be overhanging, we don't need. If the hair's wet, it's not going to fit forward. The shape's good on it, yeah? You happy with that? Okay. Okay, product-wise. Something shine, something flat. What sort of shine product do you like, Frank? On your, yeah.
I've been using it, I think it's like a clay that just keeps, because it's got
Flat
quite
base.
long there, to put more and more of it on
Okay.
to deal with it, which I hate using too much of it. You know,
Use
so
one of my
it's-
clays, use my one. It's fine. Okay, great, done.
What's that?
One of our waxes, we've got 38 products of
Oh,
our own,
alright.
so we don't use only our own products. So it's all K products. This is a K clay. Okay, head down slightly for me. Remember how we distribute it? Palms, yeah? Push it through the hair. Again, product distribution, how you apply product is important on your MVQs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just what the product does, how do you apply it? And when you're doing your retail section, it's also about how do you use the product at home. So if you don't know how to use it, you're going to buy it. Not really, are you? You want an idiot's guide of it, you want to teach them. So you say, well, this is how you do it, this is how we're going to style it, this is how you wash it out, this is how little you put in. The tonic you put in the size of a penny in your hand, that's all you need when you buy a tonic. You can use it every day, there's nothing in it that's going to damage the head or the hair. So you see the shape of it all? You can see all the techniques I use, you can see them all sticking out on the whole lot, can't you? Okay? What do you think? Good? Like it? Very handsome man, look at you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So, if I was to
What
go
we're
to the
doing
bar-
Wednesday, next week,
yeah,
wine night.
what wine do? If I went to the barbers,
Yes.
how would I describe this cut? Say I thought that's the cut for me.
I would personally say, can you give Kev Vorley a phone down in Essex and he'll explain this? Don't of course with Kev, I'll tell you. No, it is really a tailored cut. So it's all about keeping the sides square. It's a burst fade, it's in and out. It's a fade that goes in and out of the haircut. It's retention and length.
Right.
It's about shape, keeping it square but keeping the length on top and working with the cow's lip. And a sharp taper neck, some faded neck.
Yeah.
If we've got a mirror somewhere, a back mirror, we can show
There is.
we can show friends what is that done.
That clean, because they're not clean, that was too much.
Get photos on your phone, Frank.
That's what I'm about to
Yeah,
do,
well,
phone
yeah.
text them.
Yes, I've got that photos today, haven't I? Yeah. Oh, we get told off, I need to put photos on. Jesus. You've done some of those, haven't you?
Yeah.
Can you send them to me? Email them to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just email them onto me on photos.
Well, I'm not what they're gone, what they
Which one's properly? Yeah. Remember?
Yeah, it's just give you one, isn't it?
It's okay. Okay. Do we go for it? It's great. So it looks like night time. Here we go. Night view.
Wonderful.
Happy?
Amazing.
So you've got your beard. Shape of your beard strong. Blends in, blends out. Your neckline's nice and tapered out. Fade at the base. And then you've got the other side.
That's the difference
Brilliant.
between
Fascinating.
what's
Okay.
we get at the
Happy?
Absolutely.
So what have you learned from that?
Well, violin.
From the outside in, it's quite mad,
To
isn't it?
stick to 6 weeks.
Thank you very, very much. Thank
Thanks,
you.
thanks for your time.
Pleasure,
Cheers.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So how
Thanks.
much would that cost if you
My shop is 25 for me. I charge 25 for me. The rest of my take is 24.
What, just for the hair?
Yes.
Not a beard?
A beard will be 15. Shave the beard, so 40 quid, then you do a shave, 30 quid. But I walk out my shop and I would have 70, 80, 90 quid out of the pocket because I have the products as well. And I've got 7,000 clients, 22 shops, busy shops. So you work out the systems that you use work, two shops, 12 staff, 2 shops. And they rotate between 2 shops. So everybody gets 2 chairs. And I handpick all my staff. So it's quite nice. And I train them all. So how did you find today so far?
Really good.
You learnt a lot. Was it worth cutting? In a sense of how we reversed and do mirror cutting. So we do it one way to curl the burst fade that way and that way to burst fade that way. So you can use your clippers in various ways. Closed clipper, open clipper, different settings on clippers. How you use the angle, it's 90, 33 and a third, bounce off the finger, horizontal, yeah? We've used a razor, that way. We've used a razor internally. We've pendulum cut with clippers to give you a texturising technique inside. We've done foilers, we've done T-liners. We've used D8s, D4s, we used the ProLise, which are lithium battery, rotary clippers, about 5,500 spins per minute. They're the all-right ones we've done the pendulum work with. And they're corded and cordless. You can use them on the cord or off the cord. So I use them all the time in my business because I flip between the two shops. So I work out of a box all the time. I'm a homeless barber. It's really good. Two shops, I haven't got a station. It's great, isn't it? Made myself redundant. How do I do that? How do I make myself redundant in my own shops? It's terrible, isn't it? Got that white cocked up. Give me juniors chairs instead of me. But what we taught is about consultation was key. How we do consultation, how we communicate. Getting information is the key way of approaching a haircut. We've also looked at execution of a haircut, structure techniques, centre profile, parietal bones, parietal ridges, occipital lines, masculoid bones, high, medium, low transitions. We looked at shape, how to build square shapes, graduated shapes, okay, concave shapes. We looked at the techniques that create that. We've also looked at execution and conclusion, understanding where to finish, seeing the end of point. You need to know the end game before we start. What don't you do? What don't you do before you put your clippers up? When you put your clippers up, what's the most thing you must never do before you do anything? You mustn't cut at all before you do what?
Consultation.
It's the most important thing you ever do. And they don't make a first impression twice, you only do it once, yeah? So you've got to really make that impact. So if you're not a chatter on the chair, learn very quickly. Because it will make you money, primary, give you a job, make you money, but more importantly, it gets you a reputation. You can communicate. Okay, unfortunately, a lot of people fail to communicate. It's the job where you really need that skill. Cutting hair is not enough. All them techniques I've learned, years and years and years. How do you think I've learned them techniques? I've asked, I've talked, I've learned, I've gone and learnt of people, I've worked with fellow barbers. How do you do that? What's the purpose of this? Why do you do this? How do you do that? For 28 years I've learnt and learnt and learnt. Now every day you learn something new because life never stops teaching, so every day you learn. Okay? I've learnt something today. I've learnt how some people communicate differently. Yeah? So I'll take that back and teach my juniors. Okay? You've learnt lots of different things hopefully from me today. Lots of different techniques, different ways of approach, different approaches around the chair. How we use the chair. Using the tools that are not in your kit bag, your feet, your hands, your eyes, your chair, your lighting, your mirrors. They're all there, use them. Maximise everything at your hands. Because it makes you a great barber, it makes you very versatile. Okay, we know long layers, where you lift it all up. It's more like a rocker's cut, so it's all layered, or mid layers, shorter on the top, longer to the sides. One length is more like a surface cut, it's like a militant cut, it's quite long, it's quite strong, yeah? So it's all one length, yeah? Surfer do's cut. It's all about perimeter cutting around the edges, keeping length, balancing, using points of reference to balance. We've done short graduation, which is all about graduation down to the base. Right? We've done basic layers, which is normally a one length cut, a militant cut, it's all one length, isn't it? So you cross over your hairdressing skills and your barbering skills all the time, they cross, okay? So if you've got a chance to learn hairdressing skills, learn them, because you'll bring them into barbering. You will bring them into barbering, hair will get longer, it can't get much shorter. So you have to learn longer hair skills. So start learning. Hair shows, go and see hair shows. I'm at Barbers Connect this year, come and watch. Come and watch some of the stuff I've taught you today. I've been doing it all day. But come and watch at the Andis stage. We'll be there, cutting. Come and say hello. I'll ignore you. No, I won't. I'll say hello. No, I will say hello. I'm not that horrible. I go, oh, I remember you. Do I remember him? No, but come and learn. Ask questions. Make notes. Take photographs. Okay, don't just look on the internet. Don't just look at YouTube and Instagram. It's not what it's about. Okay? Talk to barbers. Learn at shows. Barbers Connect, Barber UK, Salon International, Excel in London. Big show. British Master Barbers Live in Crawley, that's quite a nice sort of show. It's quite petite, it's in a hotel, it's quite nice, and it's quite personable. It's a nice show. So you get to see different people work different ways, and they all want the end result, all want something good. So find out what your skill set is. Develop your own skill. find out what your style is. You'll find you'll have a style. I've got a style, I know my style, it's very soft, everything's very, very soft and tailored. And I can change texture of hair and I can move hair. I've always been able to do that. And I've actually grown with that. That's been my sort of like signature cut. Remember, everything you do in hair leaves a footprint, doesn't it? So you can pick someone's hair up and you can see who cut it last. I can tell whoever's cut my hair last in other shops, you know. So learning all the time, and the biggest thing you do in front of your clients, what must you always do in front of your clients when you meet them?
Smile.
Fantastic. Please smile a lot, yeah? You're in a job where you're with people and you love people, because that's where you do it, okay? So enjoy them, learn loads, enjoy their conversation, enjoy their company, become their friends, because at the end of the day, they're going to pay you lots and lots of money over a long time, or they won't. Because everybody has a haircut. Everyone in this room has a haircut somewhere. Someone's benefit from that. Why shouldn't it be you? Okay, I stand there in my shop and say to my barbers, who cut his hair? Who cuts his hair? Who cuts it? Never say to them, why aren't we cutting their hair? Why aren't you cutting their hair? It's a terrible haircut. Why aren't you cutting it? Yeah? Someone has kept them. They're bad haircuts, but someone's kept them because they like the person. And they like, I really like, Pete's a really good, he's not the best barber, I really like Pete, we have a laugh, we have a cup of tea and we always tell dirty jokes and blah blah blah, right? But he goes there because he has to have his hair cut. He chooses the person over the cut. So develop your personalities and also develop your barbering, they go together. Don't just rely on barbering, rely on communication, connection, remembering names. How do you remember names?
Keep on saying it.
Keep on saying it back to them. It's easy. Nice to meet you. How you doing? Pleased to meet you. My name's so-and-so. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. So-and-so. Can I get a cup of tea before we start? How many sugars do you take? 2. Right, I'm going to get it done. So-and-so, can you get so-and-so a cup of... You know what I mean? Yeah. If I said to you... What's your name again?
Oscar.
Oscar. What's your Ollie? Nice to meet you. He thinks he's Ollie now. Unbelievable, isn't it? He should say... What's your name?
Oscar.
Oscar, nice to meet you, Ollie. Thanks for coming in. He will say, no, it's Oscar. Oh, sorry. So what, you heard it wrong first time. That's a really good way of getting it changed. How many times you cut someone's hair and you call them the wrong name the entire haircut? Have you ever done it?
Yeah. I call him Hun.
Hun?
Yeah.
That's nice, his wife's standing behind you.
No, like...
Hun?
No, I don't call... No, I don't cut people's hair. He's got the girlfriend with him or anything.
He will do. I like people call him Babe. Hi, babes. Why do you have your hair cut with her? I wonder what that is. Do you know what I mean? Know their name. Yeah, know their name, they know your name. Introduce yourself first. Good morning, my name's Kevin, what's your name? Be progressive, be people friendly, be nice. Don't cost nothing, it's great, it's a brilliant skill, isn't it? And they'll be shocked because not many people at your age actually have the capacity to remember names. Because you're too busy doing this. Which is no offence, but I love a bit of this. God, I can search anything in a minute and can find out what's happening on the other side of the world in 30 seconds. Can't remember your name though. Right? So learn the names, be proactive, be different, and they go, I love the way she does that. She could remember names, Jade good. She's really, she's right switched on. Yeah, and you're in the shop, and Jeff walks in again, he washes his hair twice. Third time is, you need a model desperately, you need a shave model for level 3, you need a model so much, right? You need this last unit. If Jeff gets to know you, you've been chatting to you off the chair, you're not cutting his hair, you're talking to him. Made him a cup of tea, called him Hun a few times, he's corrected you, okay? But Jeff's sitting there and he goes, Joe, how are you getting on with your qualifications, Jade? I said, well, I'm all right, I just need this shave desperately. I said, be your model? Listen, you made me tea for a year, you're a lovely kid, I'll happily be your model. You sure? Thanks ever so much. Or you never talk to them because you don't cut their hair, ignore them. What do you do? You never know who's round the corner. You never know who's in front of you, you never know who's going to make that difference, okay? You can never know enough people, can you? Ever. Okay, and the more people you know, the more hair you cut, what's the most important thing at the end of that? Okay? Well, it all matters where you live, it matters the car you drive, where you live, where you go on holiday, what clothes you wear. You can make anything you want, I do. Anything you want to do, you can do. It's your life, your guide. You've got these, and they'll make you money. You've also got this, and you've got these, and they take you places. Okay? So learn to communicate. With my biggest advice, communicate quickly. Okay, stand out. I've got 3 juniors in my shop, and my God, they're brilliant at communicating, and that's why they got the job. I can teach anyone to cut out. I can teach a monkey how to cut out, I promise you. Alright? given a bit of training, you can do it. But you can't teach someone to be a people person. They've got to have it in them. And I interviewed 28 apprentices. I picked 3. And all 3 are communicators, and they are brilliant. And they're so funny, and they're involved, and they give back, and they give it back to you. And they're really good kids. 2 at 18, 1's at 19, and they're excellent. And guess what they're doing on the chairs with me now in my shop? They're working next to me on the chairs. They're cutting hair with me. And they're doing haircuts like that. Because they listen, they've got listening skills, and they're picking things up very, very quickly. And when the external assessors come in, they go, oh my God, he's doing that in 6 months. Of course they are. Because they listen and they can communicate. So my biggest advice for you juniors is communicate quickly, very quickly. Because that's the bit that's going to finish your exams. Because you can be the greatest one with a scissor overcome all day long. You're not going to get anywhere. You need to open your gobs a bit and have a go at that. And it really does work, and it's quite easy. It's habit forming, it's easy. Because the more you ask, the more you learn, the more you learn, the more you know, the more you know, the more money. The more you know, the more you earn, the more you learn, the more you earn. 100%, okay? It's been a pleasure, really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Has everybody got any questions before I start packing up about anything?